The third bullet up there, the rating tool for infrastructure. I'm pretty excited about that. That's something I'd like to talk about in a couple later slides. And also advocate, communications. That's one of the things I'd like to stress. We need to advocate the sustainability. Now we've got a definition of sustainability. As you can see, 2 paragraphs, little small font, very densely packed. Let's skip that one. Let's do the short version. We don't have that much time. Sustainable civil infrastructure provides environmental, economic, and social well-being now and for the future, the so-called triple bottom line. Our Committee on Sustainability wants to demonstrate to ASCE members and the public that a more environmentally, economically, and socially sustainable natural and built environment is essential and achievable. And the civil engineer's role in sustainability is evolving now to include policy leadership, environmental stewardship, and life cycle planning. Now that third bullet, the rating system. About a year ago, our Committee on Sustainability came to the ASCE Board of Direction and said, we'd like to put together a rating system for infrastructure. We know there's a LEED system for inhabited buildings, and we don't really want to touch that, but there are a number of groups, a number of different agencies trying to put together individual rating systems or certification systems for various pieces of infrastructure. And at last count, I think it was 700 or 800 of these different things floating around. What we're trying to do right now, what they wanted to do, was put together one rating system, a matrix-based one, that would cover all infrastructure except inhabitable buildings. The Board of Direction said, great, how fast can you do it? They're really excited about it. They put forth money, time, staff time, volunteer time, and the committee went back, and we're not starting from scratch. There's actually a similar system like that in Great Britain called CEQAL. We actually have some of the original developers working with us as consultants. And so now a year later, at the Board of Direction meeting that we had in Las Vegas, they came and they actually have version 1.0 completed. They've run a couple pilot tests on it, and we are hoping with our partners, American Consulting Engineers and the American Public Works Association, to come out in this spring with a public version. So please look forward to it. We're very excited about this. At the same time, there'll be some courses to learn how to use the rating system, but ASCE has also developed a complementary sustainability certificate course for civil infrastructure. So we talk about the triple bottom line, the economics, the environmental, and the social. And there is a social impact of infrastructure systems. Pervasive, functioning infrastructure is the key to our economic well-being and success. DeWitt Greer, chair of the Texas Highway Commission during the heyday of the interstate highway system, said, "We do not have great highways because we are a great nation. We are a great nation because we have great highways." Lewis Thomas, the former dean of the Yale Medical School, said, "The greatest advances in improving human health were the development of clean drinking water and sewage systems. So we owe our health as much to civil engineering as we do to biology." So where do we stand with infrastructure in the United States? At the end of the 20th century, we had 55,000 community drinking water systems, 30,000 wastewater treatment and collection facilities, 4 million miles of roads, 117,000 miles of rail, 600,000 highway bridges. We also have another 75,000 rail bridges, 19,000 airports. As you know, ASCE puts together a report card on America's infrastructure, and we just came out with one in 2009. So America's infrastructure, where are we headed? ASCE actually has come out with 4 report cards or updates on America's infrastructure since 1998. But we didn't actually start the report card. It was actually started in 1988 on a congressionally commissioned committee in the Reagan administration. They came out with a report, Fragile Foundations, a report on public works. And in that very first report card, America's infrastructure garnered a grade of C. Now, the collapse of the I-35W bridge in Minneapolis provided a wake-up call to the American public about the condition of America's infrastructure. But we in the business have known about the condition and how poor it is for a number of years. 1 in 4 of the nation's bridges is either structurally deficient or functionally obsolete. Here's an extreme example of a bridge in Cleveland, Ohio. But aging and overburdened infrastructure is not limited to bridges. One of our systems, it's unseen most of the time, but it's our water system and sewage system. This is a picture in the Washington, D.C. area. A 66-inch water main burst on the River Road. It's a beltway around Washington, D.C. They actually had to rescue 3 people by helicopter and another 6 by boat. This rupture caused a 1-week delay, a closure of a major commuter route in Washington, D.C. So, what's the condition on America's infrastructure? We came out in early 2009 while the President and the Congress were talking about a stimulus. The overall grade was a D. That's funny. Back in 2005, the overall grade was a D. That just shows you that if you do nothing, nothing happens. We really haven't been investing in our infrastructure. We graded 15 categories of infrastructure. And if you look at the grades, you can count them: 11 Ds, or D minuses, 4 Cs. Now, this is the national report card. Orange County just came out with the 2010 report card. You guys did appreciably better. So I was with a number of officials, a number of people from Orange County yesterday, and I said, how come you guys did so much better? And they said, we have a Measure M. So I said, what is that? It's a financing method that you're all familiar with it, that's actually providing funds to invest in infrastructure. And it's amazing when you invest in your infrastructure, the condition gets better, and it's evidenced by your grades. But let's go back to the rest of the country. We're not as fortunate to have that funding mechanism. If we look at our highways, severe highway bottlenecks have increased 40% during the past 5 years. We get that information from the Texas Transportation Institute, which takes readings around the country. Americans actually spend 4.2 billion hours per year stuck in traffic at a cost of over 79 billion in wasted time and fuel. If you divide that by motorists, it comes out to about $700 a motorist per year. I bet you each one of them would love to invest in infrastructure so they wouldn't have to waste their time or their fuel or sit idling, polluting. Leaking pipes lose an estimated 7 billion gallons of clean, treated drinking water each day. An estimated 10 billion gallons of untreated wastewater are discharged each year from aging systems. There's over 85,000 dams in the United States, and the average age is just over 52 years old. Now, there's one category of dams, it's called high-hazard dams, and those are dams that if they fail, there's a chance of loss of life. And there's over 1,800 deficient high-hazard dams in the United States. The U.S. has an estimated 100,000 miles of levees, and 85% of those are locally owned. Now, you should be scared. Those locally owned levees were originally built to protect cropland, to protect farms. They're now protecting homes and businesses. The Corps of Engineers estimates that 9% of federally inspected levees are expected to fail in a flood event. Of the 257 locks on the U.S. inland waterway system, 30 were built in the 1800s. Another 92 are over 60 years old. In 2006, 47% of all locks maintained by the Corps were classified as functionally obsolete. And if we do nothing by 2020, that number will rise to 80%. At the current funding levels, the Corps can only perform 2 or 3 lock projects each year. The average age in our country of a bridge is 44 years old. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, 27% of our bridges, highway bridges, are structurally deficient or functionally obsolete. We currently spend about $10.5 billion a year on our bridges to maintain them. It's estimated that $17 billion should be spent each year to properly bring our bridges up to an acceptable condition.